Okay, so today I'm here with the director Hotseat with Roy Cowley from 3D-lipo, and many of you will have seen Roy at the exhibitions with his ever-expanding stand and also ever-expanding range of technologies. And although our theme this month is that we're looking at how to get 100 new clients, and I mean, you have grown your business so hugely, but I thought, who's the best person to speak to? And of course, it's you, Roy. So,
I'm flattered.
So, I always ask at the beginning of an interview is if you could give one piece of advice from all of your years of experience to someone who is wanting to grow and expand their business, what's the one piece of advice that is your nugget kind of thing that is, it stands out for you?
I think the advice I'd give everyone else is pretty much the advice I gave myself. I mean, after trading in this industry since 1989, I found myself acting like a used car salesman on a stand, trying to explain why my microdermabrasion machine was any different from any other. So, when I reinvented myself and formed 3D-lipo, it was what I call blue ocean marketing strategy that stood me apart. And that is that I didn't stand behind a generic technology. I didn't stand behind a single technology that I would promote to the masses, and therefore other people would jump on my tails and have it faster and cheaper. And what I did was I created a unique concept, which was 3D-lipo, a multi-technology platform, and I shouted from the rooftops about that machine, which created business for me and for no one else. Now, that might seem a little bit of an ambiguous answer for a clinic owner, but it's not, because clinics, my single piece of advice is be different. Don't just promote a generic technology skincare line. Create your own facials, create your own bespoke treatments. By doing that, you're not going to be compared on the high street, and you own it. And when you own something, it's yours, and you can effectively price it accordingly. So that's the thing, stand alone, don't follow the crowd.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that is like brilliant advice, because there's just so much competition out there now.
Yeah.
It's, absolutely crazy, the amount of competition. So yeah, standing out, brilliant. Thank you so much, Roy. Now, obviously, like I said, everyone sees you at the exhibition standing there, with looking as if it's all just fallen into your lap. But I know that hasn't happened. So Can you just tell us a little bit about your story, because it's just such an inspirational story from in all the years you've been in the industry, and the ups and downs.
It is, and I think that you're quite right, Susan. People look at you and some of the things they say, I think George Best, no, it wasn't George, but I can't remember the celebrity, but it's amazing that people accuse me of being lucky, and the harder I work, the luckier I become. And that's the thing, is that people don't see the blood, sweat and tears behind the scenes. They just see the end results, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whether it's the size of your stand at an exhibition. But everything that gets you there are many, many, many challenges. And yeah, I think that, like a lot of people in business, I had a massive fall about 10 years ago. You read about it in the Daily Mail. And I don't mind, I'm not somebody who just likes to project the good. I don't mind sharing the journey. And, there was that time when I withdrew after, the failure of the business. A lot of people blame the recession. I blame myself. You've got to feather your nest in the good times, and not leave yourself vulnerable or too highly geared. And that's exactly where I was. So yes, I lost my big house, I lost my cars, I lost everything. And the family, we withdrew our last 400 quid out of the cash point. Well, it's at that point that you either stand up to the metal and really get going, and when the going gets tough, the tough get going, as they say. And for me, that was exactly what happened. And what it meant was that I actually built myself up again on a different set of principles and rules. No borrowing. We don't borrow as a company any money. I don't borrow any money on my house. I'm in a very fortunate position in that way. But it makes you appreciate the real things. It makes you focus. And, for me at that age, I was determined to make sure that I learned from everything that I'd done in the industry before. and it was my final moment, and it was planned, and you know what, it worked, and I followed the plan, and the plan worked out for me. But certainly on this building on different set of foundations and true values, and also for our industry, creating something that the industry needed, and going out there and preaching about it, and rather than chasing money, it's definitely something I would say, never chase the money. Create something good, create something wholesome, and do the best that you can do, and guess what, the money follows.
Yeah, I think it's really, really hard to make money in something that you don't love doing. You know, I've
Totally.
done that before, and it's
It
a
feels
hard
wrong.
slog all the time, and then it never works out anyway. But
Yes.
as well, there's so many salon owners that I work with where, you know, they take it that they're doing something wrong when their business isn't going right. But I always like to think change is good, and sometimes things have to go wrong before you can see the wood from the trees and
That's what
get it
happened for
right.
me. You know, been in the industry at that time for probably 20 years, I think you get sloppy, you get complacent,
Yeah.
and you know, it's a bad thing. And people looked at me at that time and went, "Oh my God, you know, how the mighty fall and such a disaster." But whenever anyone discusses it with me, I actually look back on it with a smile on my face and go, "It is exactly what I needed, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me." And you know, everything else has come from that.
And now, I mean, fantastic interview on this Lorraine.
Oh,
That was brilliant.
you were one of the 5 people that saw me on Lorraine.
It's like,
No, I mean, I pride myself on that. I mean, the foundations of the company are result-driven treatments, multi-technology platforms, affordability for not just the salon owners or the clinic owners, but for the end users. So a bit like the new devices, which no doubt we'll talk about later, it's about the best technology, but about making it affordable for the masses. And that's where 3D really sits. And that's, you know, that's part of that. Once we've got those strong core foundations and beliefs, then of course we do it better than anyone else. We go out there and shout about it, whether that's with celebrities, whether that's on the Lorraine show, you know, all of the media possible. I mean, I've made some very interesting headlines. Supposedly I'm causing a sexual revolution in Ireland at the moment. So these are the kind of headlines that I get. But you know, there's only one thing worse than people talking about it. It's nobody talking about you, right?
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, the thing is, it's like we're all very British, and it's one of those things, isn't it, where you know, you're not supposed to be boastful and things, but with your business, you just got to get really, really proud about what you've done, and get.
Well,
And what I like about you, Roy, is you get really, like, you're really clear on where your message is and what you've done.
That's
Really,
right, and you know, it's not rocket science. The thing that I learned was, I mean, Crystal Clear was a brand that I was a distributor for years ago, and we had a massive PR campaign with the Spice Girls, and Max Clifford was behind all of that. But you know, I learned by that by building up awareness for a generic technology, you're actually making a business for everybody else, and that's the same, you know, for clinics. So yeah, it is important to shout out about what you do, for the benefit of, I mean, there's so many people where there's a lot of competitor envy, obviously, you know, and I just look at that and think, well, you could do the same. I mean, don't be envious of me. Go out there and promote your brands and make your treatments in demand and demanded by the customer, which then means that the you know, the clinics will want your treatments. I mean, it's not rocket science. Casey have done a very good job.
yeah. I'm going to interview Dean as well soon.
Right, okay.
Got him in the hot seat too.
Oh, I'm glad you came to me first, Susan.
Start at the top.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that, I'm joking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what I'm really keen on understanding as well is that obviously you work with so many clinics, so many salons, and I see this a lot as well, where, you know, someone goes and buys some technologies, and one salon will absolutely run with it, and another, it'll just be sitting gathering dust. So where do you see, what are they doing differently? You know, is this you know, you've got the same technology. What makes that difference?
It's pretty simple, actually. I mean, a good old saying of mine is the key to success is activity, right? So you try nothing, nothing's going to happen. You try 10 things, one thing's going to work. The good thing about this is I can actually speak from authority and respect that we actually have our own clinic that is just 3D-lipo. So we know what makes it work and what you have to do to be successful. Now, from our one clinic, we have 3 treatment. That's 3. We have 3 treatment rooms and 3 3D Ultimate machines. And last month we turned over 31,000. Now, of that turnover, 97% of it was 3D-lipo bespoke treatments. So, you know, proven concept, no problem. So, and many clinics, like you say, out there are doing so well. I mean, just like incredibly well with the treatments. However, there are some that don't, and you're quite right. What is the difference between those two? And I simply say this, is that we act nationally and the clinics have to act locally. You know, yes, our treatments are in demand. Yes, many customers know about them. Yes, they've seen it on Lorraine. Yes, they've seen it in the advertising that we've done. But if they don't know you've got the bloody machine,
Yeah.
So you've got to act locally. You've got to let people know that you have that device. Facebook, actually, I'm not big on Facebook, but that's been a really amazing thing for our business. Don't ask me how they've done it, but you know, Facebook is a very good vehicle for getting it out there. Client referrals, as you well know, but you've got to get out to the audience. You've got to firstly pick the low-hanging fruit. If you're launching a machine like mine into your clinic and you have got 200 existing customers, then those people must hear about it first and foremost. Open days, open evenings, free consultations, just get them in front of the machine. If it's a great device, the customers will book. But yeah, this is what it is. A lot of people think that they're just buying into a very popular concept, stick it in their clinic and sit and wait for the phone to ring. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and as well, I think you know, you have to research and make sure it's right for your business. You know, I've seen businesses buy equipment where, you know, it just doesn't, they've looked at another salon that's doing really, really well with it and thought, right, we need it, but it's not right for their clientele. So, you know, I always like to say you need to research your clients and get them excited before you actually even get the machine. Because if your clients aren't excited about it beforehand, they're certainly not going to be as excited when you get it. So
yeah, I think it's a valid point. And you know, you've got the resources with Facebook and your followers to actually just get out to them and say, I'm thinking of this machine, what do you think? And see the kind of response that it gets. But, you know, I also think that there's many companies out there, and you go to an exhibition, you know, people are romanced by this sparkling stands and the swish salespeople. Don't smile, I'm not putting myself in this bracket. But you know, the thing about it is that behind that stand is a business, and behind that business are all sorts of things you need to know about. You know, you need to go to company's house. You need to see that this company's going to be there next year, but also that they actually fulfill the promises that they give you. Speak to 10 people out there that have got their machines, but not the 10 people they give you to phone. You know, there's lots of things that you've got to do like any purchase, some due diligence. But I will say that, you know, a lot of people, a lot of companies they don't put the effort into it. They don't promote their brand, and they just expect people based on a specification to buy their machine because it's a few pounds cheaper than another one. I face it all the time, you know, that people are saying, well, why are you buying their machine? Buy ours because. But they're not putting in the work into the brand, and it's really important, and it makes the clinic's job so much easier if they are taking a product on that ultimately is in demand. Let's be honest, you've done it. I mean, look, the case is the same, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 of your systems. You know, the brand awareness does help, you know, going for reputable companies. It is right, you know, if the shows, it can be a little bit bamboozling because there's so many pieces of equipment and it's hard to figure out what's different. I always go for companies that have been established for a long time and looking at the background, exactly what you're saying. But it's so hard when people are like saying it's a one day only offer kind of thing.
Yeah, that's because the company's going to be out of business tomorrow.
But so anyway, I know your business has ever grown. So what are the next plans for 3D-lipo? I mean, I know you've got your fantastic new premises now.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been it's been an interesting year. We kind of expanded 40% growth year on year. It's been it's amazing. This year we're probably forecasting a 20% growth because it's what I see a year of consolidation. So we've introduced some amazing new products. We're in the laser field as far as our VJuve, our Trilogy Ice, our NanoSure. So we're in the remits of tattoo, hair removal, skin resurfacing. This has been a great thing for us to do. We're very much 30% of our business is worldwide, so we're dealing with some very big distributors worldwide. But more importantly, this year we're working through and gaining. Now we've moved into our new facility, which is 6,000 square feet, manufacture and also customer service. We've invested in more people to support the organisation, but we're now going down a new route because in 2020, a lot of these companies won't be able to survive because all of this is going to be deemed medical equipment. And we are now going through the ISO 13485 process and gaining medical CE certification for all of our devices, which is going to not necessarily be relevant to the UK right today, but it will be within a year or so. But it's very relevant for our export market. So it's taking a lot of time to go through that process because it's externally audited. But it's going to put us in a very enviable position going forward. So that's our priority right now.
Fantastic. Now, and I'm just going to put you on the spot now. So I forgot to ask you about this earlier. Because with Beauty Directors Club, we have like a discount store where we always ask companies as well if like they would ever give any kind of discount. So could I just say that
sorry, you're breaking up, Susan. You're breaking. I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
So if we put 3D-lipo in there, I'm sure the members would get a really good deal if there was anything. Any equipment that they wanted, or if they came to the stand and said they were.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's something we can talk about. You know, we can come up with a preferential buying rate for your customers, no problem at all.
Fantastic.
You know, each machine has got probably a different level of discount, but yeah, we can come up with a standard for you guys that hopefully that will help. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I realise you're so busy, so thank you so much, Roy. That's been brilliant. You've got some real nuggets in there. Great advice, absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much, and no doubt I'll see you soon.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Take care, Susan. Nice to speak to you.
Bye.